How you feeling? All right, I see so many faces who have been here all 6 days, celebrating every single one of you for your commitment to the change that you want to be and that you want to see and that you want to hear in your voice, that you want to see in your career. How great was yesterday, guys? Oh my God. Watching you guys coach was and getting to like be a part of that with you, Heather, and with you, Sarah. That was like celebrating you guys for just being so vulnerable. That was amazing. How great was that? It was like night and day, right? And oh my gosh, how great was hearing from Stephanie. She's awesome. I love her. If you guys come and enroll in the program, you'll be working with her. She still has like 2 more months in the program, so you'll get to be with her. Um, who played with your making a sound your own worksheet? So those were the artistic inquiries, the connection to your emotional home and your unique story that I took Heather and Sarah through yesterday. So that worksheet is a way that you can take yourself through that. And I forget who it was, one of you put into the chat yesterday something like, so do we have to do this for every song? And no, you don't have to, but I think you want to because this is the way that you go from good to great. It's real easy to sound good and give a good performance, but it's a totally thing, like different thing entirely to connect to that place. Like when it was such a difference when Heather was just singing versus when Heather was like connecting, and we all felt it. And that's the difference between good and great. So do you have to do it in all your songs? No. Do you want to? Yeah. Yeah. And it's going to feel different with every song. You could be doing If I Were a Belle from Guys and Dolls, and those of you who don't know that song, she's drunk and she just got kissed and she's all like, ask me how do I feel? Ask me now that we're cozy and clinging, right? Like it's going to be a different inquiry when you're doing a song that's all about excitement and love and stuff versus a song that's about fear or loss, right? And so it's your job to do what you need to do to connect to that at a different level if you're going to be able to stand out from the competition to create what you want. So celebrating all of you guys who did it. I see Elena did it. Colleen says she's doing it today. Good. Don't skip it. Um, awesome. Jennifer's asking me to turn up my gain. Are you guys having a hard time hearing me? No, you hear me now, Jennifer? Okay, good. I just want to make sure. Okay. Show of hands. Who did their meditation today? Own it. Celebrate it. Let me see. Say me in the chat. Did you do your meditation today? Awesome. Sarah, Allison, Elena, Arisa, Anna, Sophia. Yes. Jennifer, Colleen did it. Stacy did it. Aura. Yes. Paul, Gloria. Okay. We're seeing the same names over and over again. You guys are in it to win it. I love how you're showing up. Uh, who is 6 for 6 on their meditation? Put 6 in the chat if you've done it every single day since I gave it to you guys. Oh, nice. Julie, Colleen, Sarah. Beautiful. Jennifer's awesome. 5 of 6. That's good too. That's good too. That's more than 0. I love it. I'm really honoring you guys for how accountable you're being to the new tools. Keep doing it daily. Keep doing it daily. I want to celebrate Julie Greer and Flo Madsen on their enrollment into the intensive program. They're not even here now because they came to studio class today. So they are like already in like Flynn. So celebrating both of them for getting moving on their goals and the change that they want to see and be in their music and their singing. A reminder that our housekeeping, just a little bit, this is the safe space. Zero tolerance for any criticism, judgment in the chat. This is the place we get to learn and fall down and get up and be supported. Train first, ask questions later. And you guys, tomorrow is like an entire 90 minutes of Q&A. So if you're wondering as you're working on the technique, like, am I embodying this correctly? Am I supposed to feel it this way or that way? Bring it to the Q&A tomorrow. We also in the Facebook group are going to put up a post like shortly, like in about an hour when we're done here in 90 minutes, asking you what your questions are. So if you know you have questions for me that you want to look at tomorrow, definitely put it there. Also, if you have questions and you can't be here tomorrow, put it there and I will address them too, so you can watch back in the replay. Okay. Today is my favorite day because we are going to dive deep on the relationship of mindset and performance, mindset and career. And we have our expert mindset coach, Judy, in the house. She works one-on-one with all our singers in the intensive training program, helping them master their mindset. Hi, Judy.
Hello.
Hey, hey, excited to have you here today.
Excited to be here.
I know, it's like the push before Thanksgiving. Let's coach everybody before we all have to be around the crazy people in our families, right?
For sure.
All right, so Judy and I, we are both gonna hardcore you a little bit today. Do I have your permission to call it tight today? Tell me in the chat. Do I have permission to call it tight today? I want permission to coach. Who's given me permission to call it tight and permission to give you a little loving hardcore today? Okay, good. So this is where I get to gently and lovingly kick your butt. Okay. Because what we're talking about today, I wish that somebody had taught me as a younger singer in the earlier part of my career. Because, man, it would have saved me a lot of struggle and a lot of heartache. And so today we're talking about the biggest hurdle that pro singers face and how to get over it. So just wanting to share with you, like in my 25 years of being a professional singer and my many, many years of working with professional singers, developing artists, I have noticed that the biggest hurdle that singers have to sing the way they want and break through to bigger levels of their careers is actually not an external struggle that you're fighting outside of yourself. It's not money, time, poor training, poor technique, or any other external struggle. It's actually an internal struggle, which means, good news, that you can affect it and you can change it today. So let's unpack this. The major concept for today, guys, and if you're following along in your masterclass workbook, the major concept for today is that the biggest hurdle singers face is fixed mindset versus growth mindset. It affects everything: how you make sound, what you do on your own behalf, how you spend your time, everything. Fixed mindset instead of growth mindset. That is the hurdle. So most of you are acting from who you are now, who you have always been, instead of acting from who you want to be and making decisions from who you want to be. And it completely stunts your growth because then you don't to be, you take the actions of who you've always been, and then you get what you've always gotten, and things stay fixed. And this can show up, for example, in your technique, big time. So let's say that you are somebody who's having trouble opening up consistency in your high voice, in your high notes, in the higher part of your range. And you have to work on getting opposition to work in your body to do that, as we've been coaching on this week. But if you have fixed mindset, then high notes are hard. They've always been hard. They've never been your bread and butter. Other people can do them, but that's not my voice. That's not the way it is. That's the way it's always been. I've just never able to do it. It's always hard. It's for somebody else. It's not me. Okay, that is fixed mindset. You want something different, but what you believe is possible has set up a giant resistance to that, which makes what you want nearly impossible to actualize. So even though you really, really want to open up your high voice, your body will not go as far as you need it to go in your opposition, for example, because the resistance that that fixed mindset creates is just way too powerful. And so you're singing from who you've always been instead of who you want to be, who you could be in that moment. Because who you've always been doesn't believe it's possible. doesn't believe that you can really do it, doesn't believe it's for you. So you will self-protect, and your body will not go for the full opposition it needs to in this example, and your high voice and your high notes stay stuck. So it's about balancing your desire and your belief. Because if you desire something that you doubt, there's no balance going on in that. If you desire something that you are annoyed about because it has not come yet, there's no balance in that. So the attraction that you're about is really lopsided. It's not working for you. Only half of it is there. You want it, but you don't believe it. And if you want something that you don't believe, then you're calling it and you are pushing it away at the same time. And that's what causes stress. That's what causes tension. That is what blocks your essence from showing up in performance. And it is what sabotages your impact. So it's about how to balance your desire and your belief so that there is no gap. But sometimes it's like you have your guard up, you have your shield up, and it's keeping you from receiving the very thing that you are desiring, that you are asking for. And that shield, it blocks you. And one of the forms that that comes in is fixed mindset. Because and here's where I'm gonna go all quantum woo-woo on you right now, but this is real, guys. I see it working either for or against my singers all the time. I see it working either for or against me in my own life all the time. Okay. So just bear with my woo woo for a second. Okay. You are here in this body, but you're here not only as you, as your physical body self, as your physical instrument. You have an inner being. Your inner being, your source energy is here flowing to you and through you. And it is a big part of actualizing your intentions for this voice, this instrument too, because your physical instrument responds to what? Your energy. Remember that from day one? Your physical instrument is responding to the energy of your inner being. It is always responding to your energy. And this inner energy, it has a point of attraction too. And while this energy, it can't just throw something to you, it cannot just like insert something into your experience when you ask for it. Like your inner energy, your inner being, it can hold the knowing of what you're asking for in such clear awareness that your intention and that point of attraction, it becomes super vivid and so much more powerful because you have set that intention and you have asked. Do you get that? So what that means is that now you've set an intention. You have asked. You want powerful, glorious high notes, amazing money notes that bring you a world-class career, and your inner being is holding that vibration, that awareness of what you want. And energy and quantum field is responding to the attraction that this inner energy has got going on. But now a really interesting thing is happening because you're summoning your energetic inner being is summoning what you desire, but you have your own free will of your own free thoughts, and you can think thoughts that block what you want if you choose to. Now, I know most of you are watching and you here would say, I would never do that, Arden. I would never think thoughts that block what I want, even though we do it every day, because every subject is really two subjects. So sometimes you think you're thinking about the high notes you really desire when really you're focused on the lack of them, the fact that they are not here yet or the way that you want yet. So you think you're thinking about the performance opportunities that you really want, but you're really focused on the absence of those opportunities. In other words, you're thinking thoughts that are vibrationally, energetically inconsistent or energetically resistant to what you have asked for, what you really want, and what would otherwise be coming to you. And so fixed mindset is one of the main forms that this resistance takes, because those thoughts do not match the desire that you have. You desire powerful, easy high notes that you could sing for days. But fixed mindset says high notes are hard. They've always been hard. They've never been my jam. Other people can do them. That's not my voice. It's just the way it is. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it's always going to be. And when the thoughts do not match the desire, that resistance makes it literally impossible to achieve what you want. Because your body is responding to that and it will resist you. And then your technique does not align. But the flip side of this is that then, in truth, your work becomes very simple. Your work is to invite thoughts that match the desire, the intention, rather than its absence, to say words that match the desire rather than its absence. Because, guys, I have seen this over and over in my life with my singers, that it is always true that when you ask, it's given. I know this might feel like a little bit like, Arden, what are you talking about? When you ask, it is always given. The question is, when you ask and it is given, what are you doing about it? Are you receiving it, or are you blocking it with your awareness of the current reality that does not contain it yet? And so that's what trips us up the most. We are focused on what we think is. And so if we ask for something that we think isn't yet, and our awareness is that it isn't rather than it is, as we focus on the isn't-ness of what we know, then we block it. We don't let it come. And then you complain. This isn't working for me. I'm not good enough. This is not for me. When it is, it always is, for better or for worse. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. You strike a balance with things that you don't even want just by giving them so much internal attention. And so this brings us back to growth mindset. With growth mindset, your focus is not on the isn't-ness. Your focus is not on what isn't here yet, what you don't have yet, what isn't working for you, what's never been, you're not focused on the isn't-ness. In growth mindset, you step into the desire, the intention, the beingness of your intention. So who you want to be? Fearless, curious, brave, fill in the blank. Who do you want to be? In fact, do that right now. Tell me in the chat. What are the traits that you want to step into? Let's talk about beingness. Who do you want to be? Claim it. Tell me in the chat right now. I'll wait. Think about it. Allison, fearless. Heidi, yes. Happy with who you are. Awesome. So you know what? You're going to be content, right? Sophia, confident. Anna, dynamic. Aura, confident, vibrant, confident. Yes. Sarah, bold. Yes. Courageous. Guys, please make sure you're muted. Thank you. Yes, Sapphire, happy. Elena, unafraid. Exactly. A courageous badass. Colleen, hell yeah. Okay, you guys, when you have cultivated a growth mindset, you step into who you want to be: brave, courageous, happy, content, fearless. And you are intentional about it, about choosing beliefs and an emotional home which supports that. And then the thoughts start to match the desire. There's no more resistance. So the actions that you take that are coming from that place, when you sing, your body responds to that version of you, and it becomes 10 times easier to go as far as you need to go in your technique so that it works, in your opposition so that it works, in putting yourself out there for things that you never ever thought would ever get you anywhere. And now it works. And now you're seeing results. High notes are easy. You're landing opportunities. You're bringing in income. Okay, guys, growth mindset is all about taking contrary action. If the voice in your head is screaming at you all of the doubt, that's your inner critic. It's just trying to protect you. It is. It's just trying to protect you from failing. But in doing so, it will continue to keep you small and always drown out that other voice, the voice of who you could be. which is the voice of your awareness. Get this. If the voice inside your head is screaming at you, danger, failure, whatever, that's not your awareness. That's your fear, your doubt, your inner critic. Your awareness is that still small voice of knowing within. Fixed mindset does not listen to it. Fixed mindset listens to the loud voice of doubt, which is always trying to drown out that small voice of your awareness. Growth mindset knows who you want to be, listens to that small voice because that voice of your awareness is who you want to be already. Most of you just don't listen to it. So the way you get over the biggest hurdle from fixed mindset to growth mindset is to listen to your awareness. Take action from your awareness, not your fear, not your doubt. Take action from your awareness. It knows who you want to be and is continually trying to nudge you in that direction. Do not ignore it anymore. Pay attention to it. Take action from it. It is the voice of your desire. It is the voice of your intention. It is the voice of your essence, the energy that came in when you were born, that went out, it goes out when you die. It is the voice that knows that when you ask, it is always given. Go towards that little voice. Go towards the thing that scares you. Guys, everything you want is just on the other side of your comfort zone. You are stuck where you are because you're listening to the loud voice of your fear that's keeping you here instead of listening to the little voice of your awareness that says, oh, go do that. Okay? Go towards that voice. Create beliefs and thoughts and an emotional home that match your desire instead of block it. You get to be a little scared and do it anyway, whatever the it is. Even something like coming and working with us in the intensive and investing in yourself to get that training, that can be really scary. 7K on a credit card, that can be scary. And even though you've launched that rocket of desire where your awareness is telling you, this is what I want, this is going to get me where I want to go, this is my tribe, this is where I want to be. If fixed mindset, the old you that created the situation that you've been in with your voice in your career in the first place, if fixed mindset comes in with, that's crazy, I don't have the investment, I could never have that kind of investment, I could never find the money, then right there, you're acting from who you are now, who you have always been, instead of acting from who you want to be and making decisions from who you want to be. And then you don't take the actions of who you want to be. You take the actions of who you've always been, and then you get what you've always gotten, and things stay fixed. But when you follow your awareness, you create beliefs that match your desire. There's always a way for the committed. It's just money. I can always go out and find more and make more. Abundance is my birthright. Living my dream is the best investment I can make. Now, your thoughts are matching your desire. And you get to be a little scared and do it anyway, because think about it. What is scarier? Investing 7K so you can finally break the blocks and break through and succeed with your singing for the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life? Or is it scarier looking back a year from now, God forbid, 5 years from now, and you're in the exact same place with the exact same frustrations, disappointments, sadness, even the shame of having a gift that you cannot live at the level that you want, that you are being called to? Because you're going to be scared anyway. So you might as well be scared and get what you want. Because regret, guys, is the most costly thing, which is why getting over this hurdle of fixed mindset to growth mindset is so important. Growth mindset requires you to go beyond your comfort zone. That is how we grow. Guys, it's called growing pains for a reason. It is not always easy or comfortable to grow. If you want it to be easy or comfortable, go do something else. We're scared because we want certainty of an outcome, but your awareness will never, ever, ever lead you astray. It matches your thoughts with your desire. Aligning with your awareness means no regrets. That's what it means. Listen to your awareness. Take action from your awareness. it knows who you want to be, and it is continually trying to nudge you in that direction. Do not ignore it anymore. Do not resist it anymore. Pay attention to it and take action from it. So I want to open it up here to ask, as you've been listening to me, as you've been hearing me talk about the things that get in and cause that fixed mindset, the limiting beliefs, the old stories that we attach to that don't serve us to. Who here can see a limiting belief that they have that has kept them in fixed mindset around their singing for a long time? Can I have a volunteer who'd like some help shifting from fixed mindset to growth mindset? Because we're going to do some hot seat coaching with Coach Judy right now, and we're literally going to laser it in. Who would like some coaching? Use the raise hand in the chat. That's the little under reactions in the heart at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Who can see a limiting belief that's been keeping them in fixed mindset around their singing? Jennifer, I see your hand. I will call on you in a second, but Jennifer has done our program and she knows what we're about to do, which is why she's volunteering. But I would love to be able to work with somebody who has not volunteered and has not worked with us before.
Sophia had her hand up first.
Did I miss that? Oh, and I also, she did. So where did I miss Sophia? Oh,
Place on
wait,
my screen.
did you take it down? Okay,
No,
if
she still got her hand up.
she does.
Sophia and then Gloria.
Okay, Sophia, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for pointing that out, Judy.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So Sophia, what's the limiting belief that you've identified?
So I'm not sure why my camera isn't working right now. Can you see me?
No, but honestly, we don't
okay.
need to see you for this. We can just hear you. That's okay.
It's really weird because I don't really know exactly what's holding me back, because I do know a lot about the mindset and all the woo-woo stuff that you speak about. And I feel like I understand it all in theory. And I have moments where I embody it, and then I have moments where I just disconnect from it. I guess like I've been really passionate about singing since I was a child, but I never did anything with it professionally because I kind of always just had to fend for myself and make money. So I guess maybe my limiting belief, now that we're talking it out, is a money fear. I think I just kind of fear that, how am I going to make money? And like I kind of, I'll quit my job to focus on my, music, but then I just get distracted, and then I just end up going back to work again because then the money starts running out. And I kind of have done this like twice since pandemic. So I think it's just like a money fear.
Okay. If you want to identify, like I fear that, like fill in the blank.
Yeah, I fear that I fear that instability, and I feel like I don't know, like I fear I won't be able to support myself financially with my passion.
Okay. Can I ask you to clarify it even a little further, which is, if I go all in and commit to my dreams as a singer, then what? What are you afraid will happen?
I'm afraid of the unknown, I guess, because I don't know what will happen. I've always had to support myself. I've always like worked full time. I've always, had a salary job. I don't really have like a support network to kind of fall back on. So it's just fear of the unknown.
Okay. Judy, take it away.
All right, Sophia, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate you putting this out there, that I think it's a very common thing that people are afraid of the unknown. So you're not alone, because it is scary to take the jump. It is scary to think about what will it look like to become that professional that I've always desired to be. And so what you've identified is that it's the fear of instability, the fear of not being able to make money. And so with that fear, tell me, where do you think the root of that belief that you can't make money, or you might not make money in pursuing your singing career, where did that come from?
I guess, my parents kind of were, scarcity mindset. And like I said, I know all the right answers to these questions, but I find it hard to, believe it and move past it. I know.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
You grew up with the full belief that it's not possible. And
Mhm.
so there's your fixed mindset.
You need a real job. I kind of always was told, you need a real job. You need a
You
real
need a
job.
real job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in what ways have you seen singers have a real job singing?
Um, I mean, I guess I've kind of been looking into voice acting lately, but again, it's not singing. I'm just sort of trying to, or
No, I'm not talking about for you. I mean, just in general, where have you seen evidence that singers can make a living singing?
all around me, I guess.
All right.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that our minds like to grab a hold of that limiting thought and it
Yeah.
becomes like the overwhelming only thought when there's always a more growth mindset oriented thought. And the beautiful thing about our minds is we get to choose what we think. We
Mhm.
actually can control what we think to give ourselves a different outcome. And so when we're thinking in a fixed way and we'd rather think in a growth way, we just can choose a different thought. And so your thought that's been planted in you and has grown and has really tight roots is that unstable and you can't make money as a singer. And so that makes it really scary.
Mm.
Now, we just talked a little bit about the evidence that there's all kinds of people making money singing, right?
Right.
So really, why not you?
Yep. True. Okay, well,
So
there's that one.
if you believe that was possible for you, because
Mm.
you can see evidence that it is possible, it's not something that no one can do, and it could be you, what action would you take if you believed that?
I guess, dedicate more time to it and
Mm-hmm.
dedicate, resources to it. Because at
Mm-hmm.
the moment, I still treat it like a hobby, and
Mm-hmm.
I keep telling myself that I'm going to pursue it full time. And but then I just still, kind of think like, well, I can't spend too many hours on that because I need to like try and do all these other things that will actually make me money, and I kind of just am not,
Right,
fully going all in on it.
right, right. And so I'm curious, how have you experimented or tried to see if it's possible to make money singing?
I haven't.
Okay.
Okay, this is where I get to like hop on my soapbox for a second. And thank you for being so honest,
Yeah.
because this is her fixed mindset has stopped her from even getting data and putting herself out there to explore, to even get the data, to even see what is there for her. And so like it's so beautiful that you're willing to look at this. If I
Mhm.
can ask you, Sophia, if you like to further Judy's question, you have all this data, why not you? If it could be you, if you believe that it could be you, what would be the first thing that you'd want to do?
Well, actually, just this morning, because I mean, I really haven't been even putting myself out there. I'm like, I practice around the house, I record around the house, I do everything around the house, but like, I just haven't put myself out there. But I guess my first step that I've been looking into is going to open mics. So that sort of I was like literally just Googling open mics this morning because, yeah, I'm determined to change it. It's just,
Yeah, because that's so I'm gonna take a tangent here, and then Judy, I'm
mm,
gonna go back to you, which is the way that we uh become successful at anything, not just singing, at anything, is you got to think of it like if you think of a bullseye and a target, right? And
mm,
there's like the bullseye, and then there's the concentric rings that move out, right? And so right now you haven't shot at the target at all.
mm,
So you have zero data as to where you are. You
right.
could take a first shot and you could be off the board. You could be on the third rung. You could be right in the middle. You don't know. And the
Yeah.
problem with that is that the way that we move the needle on what we want is with time in the saddle, putting ourselves out there, getting data, learning what worked, what didn't work, where we thought we fell down, what we learned from it, and then we take another shot with all that data. And now, oh, look, we're closer to the bullseye, but I'm
Mhm.
still not in the bullseye. I'm going to have to shoot a bunch of different times. And every time I shoot, I get more data to learn oh, this didn't work. Now I need to learn what I get to do here to optimize this so that when I take
Mhm.
another shot, I get even closer to the bullseye. But
Right.
the mindset has prevented you from even taking a shot. So this idea of let me just do some open mics and see what happens when I do perform. What
Yeah.
happens to my technique? How do people respond? How do I respond, right? Then you get that data and now you can say, okay, these are the things that I get to optimize. These are the things that are already working. And now you start to build the needle going like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, that was my soapbox.
Thank you.
And a really good one at that. So thank you for jumping in with it. It's definitely something that everyone needs to realize is that when we aren't doing anything to gather the data of seeing what it would really look like, how can we know? And so that keeps us in that fixed mindset. And so my next thought for you is that that's so awesome, first off, that you even were thinking about that and wrote it down this morning, that you wanted to look into open mics. And knowing that doing that for the first time can be scary for some people, I wonder, as you considered doing it, what were you thinking?
So it's funny because like I found that in the past, I would kind of sing in front of friends and like no one would really kind of acknowledge or say anything. And it's just weird because I find like that you're sometimes like your very closest friends are like the last ones to kind of show you support. Lately, I've just sort of been like wandering around and kind of just like singing in front of, random people in random situations and, just people that I don't know as well. And they're actually noticing and being like, oh, wow, you have a really nice voice. So I'm kind of starting to get more confidence because, like I have just sort of, I was like just singing happy birthday to some girl, in a nightclub bathroom or something like that. And she was like, oh my God, your vocals are amazing. And then I was singing in front of some people that I don't really know very well, at a party, and they kind of noticed without me, sort of, and I was like just kind of in the background. I wasn't like visually trying to perform. But yeah, I sort of like have been kind of getting these little bits of data from people sort of slightly outside my inner circle that are, and maybe it's because I'm more comfortable when I sing near them. Maybe when I'm singing next to my closest friends, I'm trying harder and the trying is messing it up. I don't know. But I was kind of thinking when I go to open mics, I almost feel like I just want to go alone because maybe it'll be less pressure if it's just me and a bunch of strangers as opposed to, having someone there that I feel like I need to, impress or prove anything to.
Exactly. So it does sound like a good place to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And experimentation is a great way to gather data because that's what an experiment's for, right? It's to look and do the scientific experiment here and see what data comes up, what works, what doesn't, how does it affect things? How would you do it differently? That's all really very positive. And so you're definitely onto this. And the idea too that you were already just randomly singing some, that says you're willing to put yourself out there. So that's more of a growth mindset. So I really want to commend you for that. And so as you step into that and begin to think about doing the open mics and really getting your footing in performing in front of others, what I heard is as long as it's really nobody there's no high stakes in the audience, it's okay. So that's a safe to fail experiment. Perfect. Once you move beyond that safe to fail experiment, what do you think would be the next hurdle for you to overcome?
Just letting go of the need to prove myself and people please is something that, I kind of feel like I made a lot of progress on it. Starting from around this time last year, I had like a big breakthrough moment where I realized that, I needed to let that go. However, obviously, like, even though I had a breakthrough, it's still deep rooted. So it's still like something I need to keep working on.
Exactly.
And
that is the thing.
To anybody.
Sure. Those kind of things are deeply rooted. And so, that's a big mind weight and it's got deep roots and it's going to have to be pulled out in order for you to move forward and really trust your body and trust the process to get yourself out there. Because as long as you're holding on to that, what happens?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. And then it ends up being self-fulfilling, what Arden was talking about. The next thing you know, you're 5 years down the road and where am I? How did I not get any further? Why am I still in this same place? And so for you to really let go of that fear of judgment, to be all in and being able to sing in front of anybody, what do you think you need to address?
I need to, I know I need to like, write down the thoughts that I want to think and kind of speak them. And again, like I think I know everything, but it's just a matter of implementing it. I've never I haven't in the past been a very disciplined person or a very routine person or a very scheduled person. So even though I know all these things, I kind of am doing them here and there.
Mhm.
I read somewhere recently like to replace the word discipline with devotion. So I'm going to try and, rewire myself because I just have this rebellious streak where it's like if something's routine or monotonous, I'm like, I don't want to do it. But
Mhm.
I'm going to try and rephrase it as devotion and kind of just show up daily and kind of just, yeah, these thoughts that I know, just keep repeating them and keep repeating them until they become, just constant as opposed to just, I know it sometimes
Right,
and I feel it
right.
sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that sounds really good. And I really appreciate you saying all of that. And yet, if you don't mind, I want to call you out on it a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. So, you said you've known all of this, you've studied on it, when you speak it, you know that it's true, yet you haven't been able to keep yourself in alignment with it,
Right.
and follow through.
Yeah.
And so if we keep doing the same thing with the same expectation, what do you think we get?
We just stay stagnant, stay small. So yeah, I think that maybe I I know what I'm meant to do, but somehow I'm self-sabotaging myself.
Yeah. So this is so true for everyone. We think we know what what we need to do, and that if we just know, then we will do it. But I don't know about you, but so many of everyone that I coach with, it seems to be that there is the knowing. I know it, but why can't I make myself do it?
Yeah.
And it's really all in the mindset shift. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen overnight.
Mhm.
It's a conditioning, it's a building of muscle in your mind and how you look at things so that you can continually condition it just like you condition your technique. And as you condition that mindset to be growth instead of the fixed, that's when the magic really begins to happen. Everything flows, everything comes together. It becomes to be easy. You get that confidence because you're putting yourself out there. Your body's more relaxed and it's able to do what it's designed to do because you're no longer holding that tension of, I have to make myself go through and do this.
Mm.
I have to make myself do these things. This is what we think is getting us to growth mindset, but actually, that's a fixed mindset thinking that I have to make myself do it.
Right.
So, with that in mind, when you think about what could you do differently, how can you get the accountability you need, what can you do to have the support you need to really condition your mindset and make it that strong muscle that you need it to be to really support the journey you're ready to go on?
Um, I think I need accountability and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I need to let people in to help me with that
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I seem to have trouble holding myself accountable. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're not alone in that. I bet a lot of people here would raise their hand and say, yeah, me too. And so to find that accountability and to have the support that you need, who do you have in your network or your in your life that can help be that for you?
I mean, it's difficult because I guess, there's people in my life, but everybody has got their own things going on and, everyone's just trying to get themselves through whatever they have. So, there's not really anybody that I feel like I can really consistently rely on.
Yeah, that's tough. And I can hear that feels really tough for you. And I understand. And it is so beneficial to have that accountability. And so I think for you to really consider what Arden was saying earlier, as far as, how all in are you on this? How much are you willing to shift your mindset from that fixed mindset to the growth mindset to say, I want to be with other people who are on the same journey, fighting the same mindset problems, working on their skill set, and have that support system so that I can really live my dream. Because really, that's what it comes down to is how committed are you ready to be to make it happen?
Mhm.
And so I think that's kind of your homework. That's the thing to really look at and to think about is what how committed am I? And what will make me as committed as I need to be? What actions can I take And what can I work on in my mindset toward growth that will help me have the support I need to move this forward, because it's what I really want. And so you got to fill that gap to get from where you are to what you really want. And that gap for you sounds like a support system.
Yeah.
And shifting that mindset.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sophia, for being like so open.
Thank you.
I think that how many people in here, just like show of support for her in the chat, have like wrestled with these same things in your head around, I know it, why can't I make myself do it? All yeah, exactly. Like, look at all the love in the chat, Sophia. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
And in truth, and this is where I'm gonna like not sugarcoat, right? Which is, you've been doing it your way for how many years? For how long? Like on your own, trying to do it on your own as this island and hold up the entire thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I haven't really started trying to do it professionally since like pandemic. Before that, I was just like, but I sing like every single day, like since I was a child, like all day long in the house, in the car. I'm just like constantly singing, singing, singing. But I never kind of, took the dive into trying to make it a profession until pandemic when I got laid off and, kind of a lot of creativity came through for me that year. I started writing songs, and that's when I kind of feel like I found my voice. Before I was just singing other people's songs, but during pandemic, I started writing my own songs. So now it's like, but then I had to go back to full-time work again. So,
Yeah. And as you were talking about those limiting beliefs about how, well, I could never make it as a musician full time, maybe your parents gave you that belief, oh, that's totally unrealistic or whatever, wherever it came from, right? And so we have all these conditioned beliefs, and you did a brave thing. You did, starting in the pandemic, start to put your all into it, start to go after, but like we've been talking about, you got some good data over the last 5 years, 4 years, almost 5. Oh my God, you guys, it's almost 2025, right? So you've gotten some good data over the last 5 years, which is exactly what you were just talking to Judy about, that you do need a community. You do need support. You do need people to as I say, hold that firecracker under your ass, right? And so then it becomes, okay, how, like Judy said, how committed am I? And what am I willing to do to get that? Because that, for you, that's the difference. And it might seem like this, but that commitment to doing whatever that is going to be like exponential return on that investment of time, money, whatever it is you're going to do to get that. And of course, I'm going to say, come join us.
I would love to.
But that's the idea, which is now you have absolute clarity on why the needle isn't moving for you and what needs to be addressed. And so that's your bridge from fixed mindset to growth mindset. Awesome. Thank you
Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate all the support.
Yes. So I think we'll have time to come back and do one more laser coaching with Judy probably, but I want to introduce you right now to a really special singer that I want you to meet, who really can share better than so many people her experience of what it's been like getting out of her own way and exorcising these limiting beliefs and everything we were talking about today. I mean, she really understands the struggle from fixed mindset to growth mindset, what it's been like claiming full trust in her talent, her instrument, full confidence and power in her voice, and claiming the opportunities she wants from it. So she is a musical theater and classical singer. The last few days we've talked to more contemporary and recording artists. So she's a classical and musical theater singer, and she's part of our intensive training program currently. She's halfway through, and she's one of the most dedicated, resilient singers that I have ever worked with, who unfortunately, like some of you, had some traumatic experiences in her past training, the ripples of which continued preventing her from accessing her full potential and keeping her small for a really long time. She wasn't landing the roles she was going out for. And she's, in just a few months of being in the intensive program for the first time ever. She's landed her dream role doing Beth in Little Women this summer in Europe. So I want to welcome Jessica Zeller. Jessica, welcome. You guys say hi to Jess.
Hi.
Hello, hello. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Arden.
So I would love if you would just start by sharing with everybody like what was going on with your singing and your voice and your career when well we first met. Okay, so wait, this I want to say. Jessica and I first met like 5 years ago. We had a call 5 years ago, and it took her 5 years to finally jump into our community. So I'm wondering if you could tell everyone what was going on in the last 5 years that just, was difficult for you in your voice, in your training, and what finally made you decide after 5 years of us talking to come in and get the training and get the transformation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was studying opera in college with a consistent teacher, and it wasn't until I went to another summer program that I found out that she wasn't teaching me what she should have been. So my technique was not there at all. And I bounced from teacher to teacher for the next 2 years, and nobody could tell me what my strengths were, what my weaknesses were. And then what was going on with my mindset. So I lacked no confidence because I didn't have stock of what my skills were or what my weaknesses were. So I didn't know what I was working with. And I saw an ad for the Pro Singer Collective, and that's where I met Arden. And she told me all about the group, where you guys are participating and getting a little taste of what the intensive is about, and then the intensive itself and what that entails. And I had a discovery call with Arden, and we agreed that I didn't have the technical foundation to participate in the intensive, so I should just take the next few years to take care of that, really hone in on the technique first and foremost, because the intensive is for singers who do have the solid technique but are wanting to level up. And then the pandemic happened, and I took Arden's advice of taking that time of being in quarantine to practice every day. Just really focus that time on honing your skills because you have all this time. And I was also finishing up my bachelor's degree at the time, so I was really driven. What do they say? Like, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. So I took her advice, and I was like finishing up school and then also just singing 3 hours a day. And I was working with Barbara Bonney, a very famous opera singer, and she was fantastic, helping me get to that next level. And then at the end of 2020, I had a very traumatic encounter with a professional singer who I just wanted some advice, like, where do I go from here? What do I do with the cards that I've been dealt with? And her response was, I hate your voice. I hate the aria that you chose to sing. And I don't think you should ever sing again because you won't be successful because you're a disability. I have a disability. I have cerebral palsy. And that was traumatizing. Like, I wanted to quit. I didn't sing or even listen to music for 3 months. And through that encounter, I met one of my favorite Broadway stars, Christiane Knoll, just giving her for her flowers. Like, she's absolutely incredible. She encouraged me to keep going, and she's like, I'm going to help you get to a better place. So we've been working together for almost 4 years now. And I got to the point where I was feeling good about the progress that we were making, but I was like, there's something else. I'm missing something. And I also
were going out for auditions and you weren't getting what you wanted.
I was auditioning for stuff out the nose, and like this last season I was waitlisted for everything, so I wasn't rejected outright, but it was like, why am I not good enough to get that offer? So that's when I was like, maybe I should revisit the intensive. And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
Because
what have been the biggest shifts that you noticed and the biggest wins for you?
The biggest shifts are just how much my mindset and my mental health affect my voice, affect my singing, affect my confidence. It's all connected. The voice, body, mind, and like Arden has said, we're all dealing with the same crap. So that awareness of what my issues are, that negative self-talk, what my beliefs are, and how to change that. Because if you don't change your beliefs, you're not going to be able to change your singing. Because you could have the best voice in the entire world, but if you don't believe that, then who else is going to believe that? Because it's a belief system. It's part of you. So
Yeah.
I genuinely did not have confidence in myself because of what that nasty person said to me. So it was really about building my confidence and becoming aware of how my self-talk affects my singing.
What were some, if you don't mind sharing, what were some of those things, that those dots that you actually connected? Like, when I think this is what happens.
When I think of that encounter, it reinforces the belief that I'm not good enough. And if I believe that I'm not good enough, then I'm not going to put forth the effort to get where I want to go. So that means doing my homework, practicing, or just singing for fun. So it really just kept me from singing because I didn't feel like I was good enough to share my voice, even for myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And P.S. now you get to go do Beth in Europe this whole summer. And so, like, I would love, obviously we're not naming names, but how great would it feel to, like, write that nasty woman a letter and be like, you told me that because of my disability, blah, blah, blah. And P.S. Here's the playbill. Look at what I'm doing, Sorry, not sorry. But what for you, we like talking about those beliefs, talking about those stories that I've watched you guys, Jessica is one of the hardest working. Like, when I talk about showing up 110%, Jessica's the definition of showing up like 210%. Okay. But it's not always easy. I know that lots of life has happened for you, and there have been, like, things and health issues and all these other things. And so can you speak to how the tools that have meant the most to you so that you don't give up before the miracle, so to speak?
Yeah, so I'm currently on pause because I had emergency brain surgery October 2nd, which explains the short pixie cut.
So it's
And and I knew that I had to take a pause, but instead of beating myself up over it and saying like, oh, well, I'm not going to get to practice, or I'm not doing the right thing because I'm not gung-ho charging towards the mountain like I was in the intensive prior to that. But it took a lot of self-compassion to tell myself I am worthy of taking a break, and I know that the progress is not lost, that all the tools that I still have are still there. So I can always come back whenever I'm ready to.
Well, of course. But the thing is, you have something so exciting to look forward to now as you prepare this for these performances this summer. And so I'm just curious, singing wise, technically wise, what were some of the biggest changes that you noticed in your singing, in your technique, so that going to that audition and having all of that show up? I know you had some pretty big shifts and wins. Can you share what some of those were and what were some of your favorite tools?
Yeah, it was a lot of microscopic adjustments that any other teacher would have just passed on. That, and as a teacher myself, I know I've done that in the past, but the intensive has allowed me to be more vigilant with my own students, and being really picky with the technical adjustments, and having the extra tool of an audience with the group of other intensive participants watching us, so they, not to critique us, but to observe and say, oh, I do that as well. Because I had a session where one of our other singers, Vanessa, was singing, and then I sang right after, and I stopped myself, and Arden asked me, why did you stop? And I said, because I just realized I'm doing exactly what Vanessa was doing. So having those extra set of eyes allows you to see it from an objective point of view, and to not critique others, but to lift them up, and then to implement what you learn from them in your own singing. So it's basically like having a master class. That style of teaching, when you're really paying attention, can help you and help other people.
Mhm. And, it's interesting because you mentioned in telling sort of your story of 5 years of taking you, to get into the tribe. And, this is not a one size fits all journey. And for Jessica, because she's a classical singer and I knew, the path she had been on, and it was like, yeah, you need to go and iron some of that stuff out before you come in here, because I want to work with you when you're at the level where you're out there, you're auditioning, like that's going to be the most valuable time for you in this community doing this work. But for others of you, there's some of you who have been working at your singing for a year or two, but you're doing recording artist stuff. You're doing different kinds of, it's not one size fits all. So I also don't want you to think, oh, I have to be perfect before I can come in here. Like, just to make sure that like you guys understand that you're ready for it when you're ready for it. And it just needed to finish her undergrad work. She needed to get into the professional mix so that she got data on what needles needed to be moved, right? And for her, that was the time frame that it took. But I am also curious though, because, what would you want to tell somebody who has been suffering with the same things in their voice for a long time and wants training, wants a community, maybe wants what we have here, but they're still stuck in the same indecision or fear that I know you had been from time to time? What would you say?
I would say go for it. So we talk a lot about leap of faith. For me, it was not a leap of faith. It was, what changes can I make? What can I do that is going to take me to that next level? I have this opportunity in front of me, and no, it's not a one size fits all, but I don't see any disastrous outcomes. Either you win or you learn. There is no failure. And if anybody's concerned about the money, or like it's too good to be true, the perspective that helped me was knowing that you aren't just doing this for the money. You aren't just doing it to get another $7,000, $10,000 from another singer, because had that been the case, then you would have allowed me to join 5 years ago, and that wasn't the case. You told me, these are your weaknesses, these are your strengths, go hone these, and then come back, because that's when I would have been ready for it. So it's not so much of a leap of faith. I think it's just trusting, am I going to learn, or am I going to keep doing the same things that I've been doing with the same results? That's the definition of insanity. So if you feel like there needs to be a change, then this might be it for you.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And so what are you looking forward to? When do you leave for Europe?
So it'll be next summer. So it's July 13th through August 8th. So I have several months to prepare for it. And then I'm also in a show right now. I'm in a production of Scrooge with my community theater based on A Christmas Carol. I'm a featured soloist. So I'm not playing one of the principal characters, but I have 3 solos because the director wanted to showcase my voice.
You just like, did you not hear the fact that she had brain surgery 4 weeks ago? This is the definition of resilience. These are the kinds of singers who are in this community who it's like, I just think that you are so remarkable, Jessica, that like, who cares that it's community? You literally just had brain surgery and now you're like being a featured soloist, just doing what you can in this time that you have as you're healing. Like, amazing, amazing. Like, so honor you for the resilience. But this is you, like, we talk all the time. Who are you being? Not what are you doing? And so, Jessica, who have you been being that's allowing you to like get back on your feet so quickly?
For me, it's joy and courage. So Arden might talk about the Sankalpa, which is kind of like your own personal mantra later in the week. Mine was, I am worthy of joy and courage, meaning I am worthy of being happy and putting myself out there, because those were two things that I wouldn't allow myself to do prior to the intensive. And having done that now, especially with the support of the community is just one of the best parts, if not the best part of the intensive for me, because you've just got like 10 other cheerleaders cheering you on and giving you encouragement and feedback. And that feels good, especially if you come from a background of not receiving a lot of good feedback on your singing, or if you're lacking confidence. So joy and courage is the person that I'm being, and the community aspect of it has really helped solidify that kind of person that I want to be.
Are you guys, are you picking up what she's putting down? I am worthy of joy and courage, which means that I get to take actions in which I feel joyful and I feel courageous. That's who she is being. And so 4 weeks after brain surgery, she's going to be on stage. Like, but this, you guys, this is how we say, like, this journey is full of ups and downs. Like, if you want to be a professional musician or do this in a serious avocational way, either one, where you're out there, you're doing it, you're hustling, you're living it, you are signing up for this. Okay, like, just get that that's what you are signing up for. And so it becomes, how do we hone our skill set, our technique, our mindset, our emotional home, our artistry, so that we don't give up before the miracle. And when I say that, what I mean is it's a war of attrition. That's what this artistic career is. It's, I remember being in LA in my early 20s, and everyone moved to LA, wants to be an actress, wants to be, everyone moves to New York after college who does this, wants to be on Broadway, that. And I knew all these people who were out there hustling, 25, 26 years old, trying to make it. At 32, between 30 and 32, like half of them had gone home, half of them. And maybe you were one of those people. Maybe you were one of those people who like went and tried to do it. And it was just hearing all that rejection, hearing all that no, getting knocked down. It is really hard if you don't have a mindset and an emotional home that, number one, allows you to not align with all that fixed mindset, but continuing growth mindset. And it's, number two, really hard because, as Jessica was talking about, and as you've seen throughout this workshop, we embody those things, and then it affects our performance, and it affects our ability to make an impact in that performance. And then we're not getting cast, and we're getting more no's, and nobody's listening to our records, and we're not getting the record deals or whatever. And so that just reinforces the suffering, and people give up. And I don't blame them. It's really hard if you don't have that growth mindset to buoy you and a community to help. So at 30 to 32, a whole crop of them went home. And then the same thing happened at like 39, 40, 41. Same thing happened. There were half of us, and then it got cut in half again. And the rest of them, it reinforced what I had heard. You guys know the actress Megan Mullally from Will and Grace. She played the sidekick on Will and Grace. Super funny. I heard her interviewed, and she was like, I think she was 42 when she got cast in Will and Grace. And she had been in Los Angeles trying to make it as an actress since she had graduated college. And she would get a little bit here and there. She'd get a commercial, and then it would be like crickets for a year. And then she'd get like a guest on Law and Order. And then it would be, and it was like just enough to kind of keep her in the game. But like, she kept, fighting, wanting to give up for all these reasons that we were talking about. And she was like, I'm so glad that I didn't, because by the time I got Will and Grace. She's like, everybody else had gone home. Everybody else had given up. I was the last one standing. So of course they were going to cast me. But it is like that, even in the music industry, because you have access, especially now, where with online and internet and social and all these things, to create a fan base that is just your own. You don't need to compete with people on major labels. You don't need to you can create something beautiful that sustains you, that makes money, where you can tour, so I just want you, when I say don't give up before the miracle, it's like, if you get all the tools and you give it your best possible shot, like, then create the community, create the mindset that allows you to stay the course, because you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, and then you ensure that you don't get where you want to go. So anyway, that's another soapbox. Sorry guys, I can't help myself. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing your time with us, and it's really good to see you. I think pixie haircut looks really cute on you, brain surgery or not. You
And on
guys,
a side note, I actually booked an audition like literally right before I logged on.
yay, look at that. See, you guys, gift that keeps on giving.
Join us!
Come join us. All right. Thank you so much, Jessica. Have an amazing Thanksgiving if I don't talk to you before then. You guys give her your love. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
sharing your story. So, look, guys, here's the question that I have for you, right? Which is, when is now the time to move the needle on what you want? Do you have limiting beliefs? Do you have fixed mindset that stops you from choosing now? So I think we have time. Let's see. We have time. Judy, do you think you can do like 10 minutes of like laser? Like
Super laser. Yeah, let's go for
laser
it.
coaching? Okay. I see Gloria still has her hand up. So, Gloria, come on camera. Tell us what your fixed mindset, where you see your fixed mindset showing up, your big limiting beliefs.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
nice to meet you.
My mindset will probably be on believing in myself, as corny or whatever as it sounds. It's just like last night I was putting the selfie, I was uh, whatever for the scholarship, and I was battling that. I battled that. Talk about an inner battle of, you don't want to do that. What if you have to show up every day? What if like the mind was going crazy, crazy. Like, what if you get it? I don't know. What if you let them down? I don't know. So it was this really, I mean, I wrote you the letter. Like it was a healing alone if I could just pull that apart. So, um, I guess to answer your question, the limit is me.
Well, what I hear is, I hear fear of failure and fear of success, both.
Yeah,
So you got one foot in two canoes. You got one foot in the canoe of, I really want this, but what if I succeed? Oh shit.
right.
Versus, I don't even deserve this, so I'm not even going to try. And what happens to somebody who's got one foot in two canoes? Can either canoe go anywhere?
No, you
Right?
fall flat on your ass.
Right. The canoes go like this and you're in the water, right? All
Yeah,
right.
right.
So, for the sake of laser coaching here in a short period of time, which of these canoes do you want to focus on? Your fear of failure, or your fear of success?
Of course, the fear of success. But I have data, talking about data, because
Okay.
I have two albums out, and it was lots of money. I mean, I didn't realize it was going to be that much money, but I did it anyway, and not very little on coming back for me. I mean, I suppose with when you have one foot in one boat, maybe that's part of the reason why, but
Ding, 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 ding. Gloria for the win. Seriously, that you are textbook describing what I was talking about earlier when I was training you guys on. You set the desire, you want something, and then you resisting it at the same time.
right.
And so you're simultaneously calling it in and pushing it away at the same time. And that's why nothing happens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
But you try, I mean, like I tried, like I really put a bunch of time and money. You got a photographer for the cover of the CD. I hardly sold any CDs, but I wasn't really playing out either. So yeah, that was like I put a lot of time and money into the album to make it sound good. And then as far as getting a band together, I think I was too scared, actually. I think I was too scared to do it live. I'm like, doing it in the studio is one thing because you can overdub and you can use whatever, right?
So there's
You have
also
to
lack of confidence in your skill set that you can bring it when you need to.
bring it live. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And
Okay.
so what I'm really hearing is that you put it out there with the expectation, just putting it out there, it would just skyrocket.
Isn't that how it happens? No.
Wouldn't it be so great? And how many people would be doing that every day, you know, and how many people do? And that's the thing. You got a partial way there. And now because you dipped your toe in the water and you got partially there, you're really scared. And so you've contracted back. And when we contract, that is a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset.
Yeah.
And so now to begin to tell yourself a whole new story, because that's the thing, you've made up a story now about this. I put everything into this album, nothing happened. I got these songs out. It was nothing. It felt like a waste. And so that's the meaning you've made around it. But
Yeah.
that's another meaning you could make around it that would make you more excited about picking it back up and moving forward.
I got my first two albums out of the way. That's right. I did
That's a
two.
great start. Yeah, I've got two. So I've got two out there. Now what do I want to do?
Right.
So now what do you want to do? If we took
Another
this fear out,
like,
what do you want to do?
another album, another 10 albums.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
But I'm
Okay.
going to ask you, based on just your conversation with Judy and me in these last 5 minutes, what is the number one thing that you think that you could do and approach in a different way this time so that when you take another shot, you either have the right support, you have whatever the things are that you felt like you were saying, maybe I wasn't that confident that I could bring it. If you do another album and you don't fix that inconsistency, technique, and confidence, you're going to wind up in the same boat. So given the experience that you had, what do you think is like the number one or two things that you would need to do differently when you're going to shoot again, take another shot?
Yeah. Yeah. Probably what you're saying. I would really have to look at my mindset and um, just practice my self-talk and my self-confidence and get a band together and get that practice under my belt. And so I feel confident on stage. You know, like when you repeat things over and over, you get it. And I didn't have that experience, and I was afraid of that. And the more I think about that, so yeah, I would come at it differently. I'd come at it differently, just a lot more empowered and prepared.
And
So I
if you
guess
came at it more empowered and prepared and go at it differently like that, what would that do to your fear of success?
annihilate it. No,
I would
hopefully.
hope so, yes.
I would think it would, right? It would.
Right.
I wouldn't. I would hope I just wouldn't be as afraid because I already know what it's like doing that way.
Mhm.
I already know what it's like to spend a fuck of a lot of money and just kind of have it sizzle. I mean, people loved it or whatever. So I didn't get anything bad, but I just felt like I was going uphill, trying to push it, trying to like, and I joined a couple places that they were supposed to help me promote it, and it was just more money. It just seemed like this, Jesus, now everybody wants money. So
And I just want to speak to that for a second, which goes back to really you guys to like day one and talking about that impact gap, right? I like, me personally, just from my experience, 25 years, and the singers who come in work in our program, throwing money behind a promotional campaign when what you're promoting is not breaking through. It's lipstick on a pig. And I'm not saying your recordings are a pig, but you get the analogy. It's like that level of impact is not there because of exactly what you're describing. The confidence level, the can I deliver? I had to do 25 takes. I put all this fairy dust on it. You know, we melodined it and we frankentaked it and, you know, all of that. Like that affects the impact of a recording. That affects the essence of you coming forth. And that fear of success and that fear of failure shows up in the studio, in the recording sessions, and it diminishes that energetic exchange and that impact that would otherwise be made. So putting, everybody says, oh, it's just promotion. You just need to spend $10,000 on promotion. You know how many singers I know do that and they don't get the outcome because that recording didn't have any prayer of making that impact because the singer didn't know how to tap into that in those sessions. So for what it's worth, like I always say, take what you like, leave the rest. You can disregard what I'm about to say, or you can take it. It's totally up to you. Singers who come to me who've had very similar experiences as you, I always say, do not make a move until you understand how to tap into that which is, it's in you, Gloria. You know it, but it's not, you don't have the confidence that you can bring that, count on it, get it when you need it every single time it counts in every recording session, in every stage performance. And until that happens, the only investment that needs to be made is that. Like, not any promotions, not on a producer, not on recording time, not on whatever. Like, whether you want to come in and you want our help to do that, whether you want to work in another tribe or with another teacher, it doesn't matter. Like, and this goes for all of you. If you're relating to what Gloria is saying, do not spend another dollar on any of these other things, because all you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. And again, it's a harsh analogy, and but you get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's hard to look at. It's not easy to see that. And it is going beyond that discomfort to get that help in that transformation that will move that needle for you, that will make all the difference in the world. Because now when you step into that studio, you're stepping in to create impact in a way that didn't happen with the last two records. And it was the same, it was the experience of the first record, but you didn't know that. So you went and you made a second record and you just recreated the exact same thing that happened on the first record, because the one thing that needed to shift and to expand didn't. But you haven't.
Actually, the second album was I thought was a lot better. I felt like my songwriting got better and my expression got better. So I think I learned.
Yes.
But still, then I didn't want to spend all the money in the production in the afterwards, because I knew, because I had that mindset, I'm not going to spend another couple of grand for throwing it out the window. So I didn't.
And at the same time, guys, like, while like promotion is, yes, it's important. At the same time, look, Billie Eilish and her brother were making records out of their bedroom, and there was no promotional dollars behind it. And whether you like her music or you don't, it doesn't matter. She knows how to make an impact that resonates with her audience.
Yeah.
And that traction, traction. There was no promotion behind that. That's in this age of social media, especially for those of you who are recording artists out there. No record label is going to give you a development deal. They don't do it anymore. You have to do it on your own. You have to learn how to make that impact and grow the fan base on your own. And the number one thing that will grow a fan base is you, as the artists, all of you, learning how to be unapologetically yourself, learning how to tap into that, not what you think that the market wants, not what you think that the industry needs, not what you think you need to be successful, but allowing, and that's mindset, allowing that absolute unapologetic authenticity, vulnerability come through. And that's what people respond to. And so if you're putting out albums and you're only getting a couple thousand plays, it's because people are not forwarding it to their friends. They're not posting about it on social media. They're not telling, oh my God, you have to listen to this. Like, a friend of mine just told me about this new artist who I like completely love her record. Her name is Lizzie McAlpine. Look her up.
Oh, I know her.
What did I just do? I just told 50 people because she made an impact on me. Okay. You guys, that's what happens. And so if that traction, if you're not getting that traction, it's because, and this is not to be mean at all, this is just to like help you guys get really honest. It's because that impact, it isn't happening. It isn't. And like, as they say, like in Hollywood, like a good song could fall off a truck, and if it's a hit, it'll find its audience, And so your job is to understand, okay, how do I tap into what is the most authentically, unapologetically me and allow that to shine through to create that impact, to create that audience. And some singers are born knowing how to do it. Lucky them. Lucky them. And others have to be taught. But guess what? The good news is it can be taught. It can be taught. And what you're hearing from a lot of the singers who, have at least done our work is that it can be taught, and they're experiencing the success and the growth and the opportunities from it. So lots of food for thought. Thank you for,
Thank you.
experience. I think a lot of people in here can relate about it. So again, what? Sorry, I didn't know if you wanted to add something. Okay. So again, you guys, the question that I have for you is, when is now the time to move the needle on your singing career? Because life is in session, and it's always going to be in session. It's stuff with your kids, with your day job, with health scares like Jessica. It's the holidays now, right? It's always going to be something. So when is now the time to go all in and bring forth what you are capable of, all that you are capable of? So people see you, connect with you, and are impacted by you. If you are a songwriter, if you are message driven, if all of these things, who are impacted by you in ways that you've never been able to achieve before in your career, when is now the time to go all in on that? Because there is always a way for the committed guys, and there is always an excuse for those who are not. And so there's two different roads that you can take. One road is admittedly more of a lonely path, certainly more challenging, more time consuming in the long run. And it's to try to solve all these issues on your own. And I'm not the kind of person who's going to sit here and tell you that it's impossible to solve these issues on your own. I'd be a complete hypocrite, because that's basically what I did. I spent decades in all kinds of different modalities, literally throwing spaghetti on the wall, getting a lot of bad information, paying for training that didn't address the problems, experimenting with loads of things, so many of which did not work or help or led me to a dead end. And I did this for years, guys, finding out all the things that don't work. And I spent a ton of time. I invested a ton of money, probably, not counting my undergrad degree and my master's degree. After that, I probably spent over $50,000 in mistakes and training over the years that didn't work. So you can definitely do this on your own, but it's really costly. And it's not just money, but it's the time that it takes to figure all this out when you're not the expert. So, I say this jokingly, but it's like, if you knew what you needed to do to fix it, I know every single one of you would have done that already, because you care and you're passionate and you want to succeed. But you have to think of like fixing these issues with your voice and your impact and how it's affecting your journey and your career. Is just sort of like, think of it like you're going on a cross-country trip with like a map that tells you how to get from point A to point B, that literally tells you how to avoid wrong turns and tells you exactly how to get to your final destination. And so with that, your odds of reaching it are significantly more likely if you actually have a map or a guide that shows you how to get there. But even better, imagine if you have like a GPS that literally speaks to you and tells you if you get off track, right? In your car, GPS is like recalculating, and it's like recalculating your route if you take a wrong turn, and it's like renavigating, and it brings you back to your correct path. So you can either do it without a map and try to figure it out as you go, or get a GPS that keeps you on the right path, holds your hand, mirrors back to you all the ways that you would otherwise get in your own way. You can work with a team who geeks out on this stuff and has like collectively over 100 years of expertise. Even if it seems like your blocks and patterns feel really murky, really unsurmountable, even if you've worked with some of the best singing coaches in the world like Jess, even if you've been at Juilliard or Berklee School of Music and you're thinking, I've been with the best and I'm still not there yet, and you don't feel like anybody can help you, you feel overwhelmed. Guys, I've done this hundreds of times with hundreds of singers. You have heard Tom and Stephanie and Amy and today Jessica. Like, this is what my team and I love to do. It is what we are the best in the world at. I said this to one of you yesterday, like, as you get to know me, I don't play the false humility game. When I say we are the best in the world at this, We are the best in the world at this, at helping singers get out of their own way, link mind and body to create that rock solid foundation for the biggest impact so you can go kill it in your career. It is the most important thing you can learn because everything else comes out of your ability to do that. Like I was just saying to Gloria, there is no point in spending any more time, energy, or money on things like amazing producers, studio time, marketing strategies, if what you're recording, what you're marketing, your performance, is not making the kind of impact that your listeners need it to in the way that it needs to. So freeing 100% of your potential and learning how to sing in a way that is the most true to you, that makes a visceral impact on your audience and is so healthfully produced that you can do 7 shows a week without issue. Those are the most valuable things that you can learn because everything else that you will do in your career hinges on your ability to do that. And if you want our support, if you want to work with us in the intensive program to achieve that, then your next step is to schedule a discovery call with me. Get on that call and we'll see if this is a fit for you. Ashley will put the link in the chat. This is the program this is our flagship program that, Stephanie trained in and Jessica trained in and Tom trained in, that it's the program I developed that trains you guys 360 holistically, technique, artistry, mindset. And we do that with technique accelerator training. So you have full command of your technique. Make sure there's no gaps in the technique. So it's consistent, reliable, healthy. We do it with mind-body integration modules. We deep dive into your unique patterns of thinking. You will one-on-one coach with Judy, just like this, every other week in the program. Learn how your thinking is affecting your body when you sing. So all those things that you discover, you come into studio class and I'm coaching with you in the same way that I was coaching with Heather yesterday to bring it all together. We do it with individual weekly coaching in the context of the group to make sure that you're embodying your new skill set, mindset, artistry in the most effective way. We do it through weekly group mindset call, which is our topic focused weekly group coaching focused on supporting your mindset in the necessary ways that it is for growth in your singing and in your singing career. We do it with one-on-one accountability mentoring to help you break those boundaries that have stopped you so you can get the results that you want. We do it using our beautiful community, helping each other go beyond your comfort zone in a really supportive, compassionate way, and being able to be around like-minded artists who are right there with you, learning, taking action, growing. And so if you want to be more than anything, know that you're going to get better results from your auditions, recordings, performances. You've invested in training in the past and just not getting the results or the opportunities that you want from it. Despite your best efforts, you're not where you want to be. You want to sing without tension, strain. You want it to feel good. You want it to sound good, and you want it to be sustainable. You want to tap into your unique sound, what you have that nobody else does, and know that anytime you open your mouth, that you can trust your technique and you can trust your body to make the biggest possible impact no matter what, because now you're unstoppable. And so speaking of unstoppable singers, we have a scholarship winner to announce. And I'm offering $4,000 scholarship, which is over half the tuition. So you are all so deserving. Thank you to all of you who threw your hat into the ring to send us your information, fill out the form yesterday. You were all so deserving, every single one of you who applied. And I want you to know that I watched every video. I see you. And literally, this happens to me every time. I can't decide. I couldn't decide. I didn't want to decide. So I have put all your names into this hat. See, okay. So we got all your names into this hat, and I'm just going to pick one. So, okay. Oh my goodness. Svetlana. Where's Svetlana? Svetlana Asadova.
Oh my God, I cannot believe it.
Oh my God. Buckle up, Svetlana. So Svetlana, I'm dying inside right now because Svetlana and I had her first call almost over a year ago. And
Yes.
I know that this is like really important for you. And I am like, so Ashley will get your information and you and I will hop on a call, later on this week and we'll get your ball rolling. So congratulations.
It's my birthday tomorrow, so
Oh my God. That's right. You said that in your video. That's right. Well, happy birthday to Svetlana. So I'll be reaching out to you. Congratulations. Okay, for all of you who applied for the scholarship, your next step is to get on my calendar for a call. Okay. Look, I get you guys that being an artist is not always easy. And I get that investing 7K in your training might be the biggest investment some of you have ever made in yourselves. For others, you already spend way more than that on eating out, vacations, shopping over the course of a year. So you feel like you're doing well. You feel like you're thriving when really you're not succeeding at your gifts and your potential and your passion the way that you really want. Because what we're talking about here, guys, is teaching you how to unleash 100% of your potential, claim your impact, show you how to own your voice and own the stage to get those equity gigs, those AGMA jobs, legit management if that's what you want, bringing in income from your voice if that's what you want, hundreds of thousands of plays, whatever that is that you want. These are the things that put you on big stages, opening tour slots, representation for your music, film, and TV licensing. These are the things that pay an average of 7, 8, 9K a month to start. But you guys, it's more than that. It's a new life doing what you love at the highest level. And it's a whole lot better than watching your dream fade into the rearview mirror more and more every single day because you aren't putting yourself out there for or landing those opportunities that you want. So we're going to show you how to do that. And guys, this is way less expensive than a semester at Berkeley or Juilliard. That's 4 years of your time, $30,000 a semester, 120 grand for the degree, and they don't teach this. Trust me, I have 2 very fancy conservatory degrees in vocal performance, and they do not teach this. And I don't know about you, but if I'm going to spend my hard-earned money on something, I am going to invest it in the things that are going to make the biggest difference and that get me the best results in the shortest period of time, because in the long run, that saves money. And let me tell you guys, I've done this the other way. I have been penny wise and pound foolish. I was talking to Adam about this the other day. In my early career, the producer that I really wanted to work with was $10,000, and I knew he was it. I knew that he was the one who had and shared the vision for me for the songs. Everything about his work was so aligned, but I was in scarcity mindset. To speak to what Gloria was saying, I was in scarcity mindset, and I went with the more reasonable option, a producer who would do the whole project for half, for 5K. And it just missed the mark. Like after 6 months and so many versions of the songs, and it wasn't working. And then I went and I hired my first choice. Only now I'd lost 6 months, and now I'd spent $15,000 total, way more than if I had just gotten resourceful to work with the best from the start instead of being run by my scarcity and my fear. And P.S., I sold 10,000 records working with the producer who was so aligned, right? So you guys, I get it. I really do. But think about it. If you continue to spend money on traditional lessons, on marketing, on these other things, it feels like less money because your brain is like, oh, a lesson, it's only $100 a week. But think about it. How long have some of you been with your teachers? 2 years? 3 years? You've spent $9,000 already and you're still not breaking through. You still don't have the consistency of your breath support. You still don't have the confidence. And that is costing you way more than 7K discounted investment in the intensive program, because now you've lost 3 years. And that loss of time is way more expensive. How many opportunities have you missed or not put yourself out there for, or couldn't land because you were singing in a way that couldn't get you there these last 3 years? How many opportunities, how much money have you lost because those big shows, big gigs, opportunities have been going to other singers who were able to land them? And guys, I know it can be scary to invest and commit to a new way of training because you're thinking, will it work for me? Will it work for me? And fixed mindset wants to go and say, well, I'm not like Tom because this, and I'm not like Stephanie because of that, and I'm not like Amy because of that. So maybe it worked for them, but it's not going to work for me. The question, will it work for me? And honestly, I don't know. I know that the system works. I know that the program works. I know it's the best foundation. So I know it works because I see it working for our singers every single day. But will it work for you? I don't know. But when you show up committed, resourceful, coachable, you play full out, you give 110%, then yeah, it'll work for you too. But see, I don't know you. Only you know you. And this is a co-creation. But when you make the decision to show up coachable, playful out, then yeah, it'll work for you too. Because think of the consequences of not changing things up. Like we've come to the end of a year here, more birthdays celebrated with that hesitation that a whole nother year has passed by, and you're still having to rely on crappy side jobs because your singing gigs don't pay enough. Another year of like the crippling self-doubt of going through yet another audition season or releasing another EP to disappointing results. And that dread, like we're coming into Thanksgiving. I used to hate this when I was like in the earlier part of my career, sitting at the table with my whole family and my aunts and my uncles and everybody. Hey, Arden, how's the music going? And that like immediate feeling of failure when there's nothing new going on, nothing impressive on the horizon, more years like that? Hell no. That heartache of watching other singers at the same level as you, who you know you're just as talented at, get the gigs and wondering, when is it going to be my turn? More New Year's? You want more New Year's resolutions of vowing, this year will be different. This year I'm going to do this and I will finally break through. And I know what you're thinking, guys. I do. Arden, if I had the investment, I would totally do it, but you can't get blood from a stone. And I hear you and I appreciate you. I really do. And there's always a way for the committed. Ask Amy, ask Jessica. Money wasn't growing on trees for them. Amy financed it on 4 different credit cards and a PayPal loan. And now she makes more money in her singing career than she did at her corporate job. If you are sick and tired of struggling, get resourceful. Amy did it. Jessica did it. You can do a GoFundMe campaign. You can sell some old jewelry, old appliances, whatever is in your closet that gifts people gave you don't wear on Craigslist and eBay. Maybe you have someone who will invest in you, a friend, a family member, somebody who believes in you, who will gift you or loan you the money. You can go get a 0% interest credit card. There's a ton of options. And I am going to stay on here for about 10 minutes after we finish up here. For those of you who want to learn about our third-party funding options, what are the different options for resourcefulness in terms of how you could fund it if you're, depending on what your situation is, you really want in, but you need some creative funding or creative financing, stay on with me after this for like 10 minutes and I'm going to give you a whole bunch of links. But just for now, if you can't stay, I'm going to put these in the chat for you, because if you stay, I'm going to walk you through all of it. If you can't, you can look into these options. And then I have a, hang on, I need to grab it, the link. This is our financing resources link for third-party financing. If you want to stay on with me after for a little bit, I will walk you through all of this, but if you can't, these are the links, copy them from the chat, put them in a document. There is always, always, always a way for the committed. We have flexible payment options. If you feel like training with us is like 100% aligned, these are our flexible payment options. You can do 4 monthly payments. You can break it down into 1. You can do PayPal financing. This is on our enrollment page. So the link that Ashley's putting in the chat for more information about the intensive. And you guys, we have our bonuses, okay? Like 2,000 discount until tomorrow night. Get your audition critique self-tape. You need that if you're auditioning a lot. Have your artist website audited to make sure that you guys are putting your best foot forward and you're not putting things forward in audition tapes and on your websites that are accidentally sabotaging you because you don't know what you don't know. We have 1 more of the 4th bonus here. So 2 one-on-one lessons for the first 3 singers who pay in full. We have 1 more of those available. So if that's really important to you, oh my God, don't wait, get in. And we will have our one-on-ones as well. I mean, you get to work with me anyway in studio class many times a week, but for some, this is important. So these are our flexible payment options. Guys, again, always resourcefulness is the highest value for those who are successful. Get creative. I don't care if you have 0 money in the bank or $1 million in the bank. What I care about is, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? And are you ready to do what it takes to change the needle? Because if you are, then we can help you. So also, if you have some lingering questions, whether it's on alternative ways to parse out the tuition, timing questions, questions to make sure that this is the right training option for you, then again, get on my call calendar, book that call with me, and we'll have a conversation and we'll decide if this is, in fact, the best way for you to reach your specific singing goals and a path forward if it is. And if it's not, that's okay. I'll tell you, just like I told Jessica when she first talked to me. The bonuses, you guys, they end tomorrow night, just letting you know. So you guys, you have an opportunity here to change the trajectory of 2025 in your singing career. This is where I get on my soapbox. I promise, last soapbox for today. The choices you make and the actions that you take right now are either going to set you up for success in 2025 or just ensure the same frustrations and disappointments continuing on that you've been dealing with this year and probably for many years in the past. And make no mistake, guys, the issues that you're experiencing, they don't magically take care of themselves. They only compound each other and they get worse over time, which is also what many of you have been experiencing. So where do you want to be a year from now? What's your target? If you're not thinking about that and making those decisions, somebody else is passing you by. Life is passing you by. You're here because you have talent, but lots of people have talent. What I know you need, and that's why I've created the intensive program, is technique, mindset, community, and accountability on a regular basis. And so I want you to take a look at where you are right now. And you've all heard it said, Jessica said it, the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different outcome. So ask yourself, what do I need to change? And who can help me make that change so that I change it as fast as possible? Now you have the target. Once you have the target, you have to decide. And decide means I'm in on my life, on my goals, on my talent. I'm in, period. Not when it's convenient, not when I can afford it, not maybe in 2 months after this. It's when you decide you're in. And guys, it's never going to be convenient. It's going to be about your dream, and you're going to have to fight for it. Find the time, find the money. I was listening to this podcast this weekend, and I was just telling our program grads about this. Last week, we were doing this all-in challenge, and this guy was talking about success, and he said, you've got to hold the vision, and then the universe is going to come in and it tests you, and it kicks you in the ass, and it does this. But all of a sudden, if you stand tall and you claim what you want and you decide, and then all of a sudden the universe is like, oh, they mean it. And then the universe goes on to test somebody else. And so I say all the time, you teach the universe how to treat you. And this is the same thing. So how committed are you to living your potential and succeeding at what you want at an elite level? How fast do you want that? Do you want it in 10 years or do you want to struggle? Do you want it in 5 years? Do you want it in 1 year? Once you decide and you're all in, only then can you find a vehicle and a pathway to make it happen. For the time, for the money, for whatever. Until that decision, it doesn't happen because you're calling it in and you're pushing it away at the same time. And so if you've been hustling for 6 months, a year, 2 years at your singing, if you're not landing elite opportunities, if you're not making at least $2,000 to $5,000 a month with your singing, you're missing something. That's how not hard it is when you know how to stand behind your talent and fight for your gifts. So let us help you fix that. Let's find out what it is, what you're missing, and let's dial it in, kick some butt, and get you where you want to go in 2025. It's not a lot more complicated than that. But the question is, are you better off with us or alone? Like, think about it. When somebody that's been successful says to you, hey, I can light the path for you, with somebody who knows how to get you out of your own way, or I think I can reverse engineer that on my own. Like surrounding yourself with experts who are supporting you, a kick-ass community who's going somewhere, or being that island and trying to wing it by yourself. Like, which one would work better? But when you go into your human, right? When you go into your human, are you better off alone? Are you better off having coaches and accountability partners every step of the way? It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. And I've seen this for myself. If I'm working on transforming something in my own life, if I'm working with a coach and accountability partners, I don't miss. I don't cheat. If I'm not with that, I start to slip because I'm human too, that quick. And it's really hard to do, guys. It's really hard to go it alone. And I'm hyper motivated. We see that your potential is so amazing. We see that potential in you guys. We see what's possible in you guys. We know you can do it. And we've supported hundreds of singers just like you, some of whom you've heard from this week, to break through to that next level. It's what we love to do. It's what we're the best in the world at. We will fight for you. I will fight for you. But I can't want your dream for you more than you do. So if you're all in on your potential, on your dream, you know you need help and you're seriously considering the program, but you have questions, I set aside time for you to book that call. Make sure the program is a good fit for you. Again, it's not a coaching call. It's not for you to come on and say, you know, I have some questions about breath support. Tomorrow, that's what our Q&A is for. So definitely bring that tomorrow. But this is for you and I to really get to say, okay, this is what needs to happen. Let's see if it's the right fit for you, and let's see what needs to happen to make that possible. So there's the link to book in the chat to book your discovery call. Okay, I'm going to stay on for about 10 minutes now for those of you who want to learn more and walk through third-party financing and tuition resources. Again, we have one more training session tomorrow. It's Ask Me Anything. So this is your opportunity to get clarity on everything that we trained on this week, whether it's a technique thing that you have a question on, or something you noticed when you were practicing, or a mindset thing. It is your time. I am at your disposal for the full 90 minutes. So get here tomorrow and you are free to go unless you have some questions and you want to stay on to learn about the third-party financing. Okay, guys. So for those of you who are here, I'm going to put this link in the chat again. And this is our resources document. I've walked a ton of singers through this from time to time. Let me just put this so that everyone in the meeting can see it. Okay. So guys, grab this link and I'm going to open it up right now and I'm going to share my screen so you can see what it is. And okay. So this is our funding resources doc. First thing you want to do is, if you have a decent credit score, which means above 650, you want to check out NerdWallet. And what NerdWallet is, actually, I can go to it a different way. Hang on, I'm going to share my screen differently. Okay, let me share this. So that link is going to take you here to NerdWallet. And NerdWallet is going to give you the best 0% interest credit card options that are out there right now. So if you have a decent credit score, like for example, you can get 0% interest for 15 months, for 18 months, 0% interest, 18 months, Wells Fargo, 21 months, no interest. Now, after 21 months, it goes up to normal interest rate. But if you qualify for this card, you put the 7K on the card, you have 21 months to pay it off without any interest. That's $333 a month. That is a no-brainer. It is free money for 21 months. And then after that, you pay it off and you didn't incur any interest. So to me, this is like an amazing option for those of you who can qualify for it. So use that, go to NerdWallet, look at the different cards, see if there's one that, you know, fits you and looks good for you, and then apply for it and see if you qualify for it. If you do, you're in, like easy peasy. So that's the first link that's on the resources document. The other links, let me go back to that. So these are our third-party funding partners, and they all will fund tuition if you qualify, depending on the rate and the term that you qualify for. So let me take you to our first one, SoFi, and show you like what that process is. Let me open up SoFi. Okay. So for example, when you go to third-party funding, what it is, it's basically a personal loan. And so you will click on Find My Rate, and you will verify that you're human. And then you will enter your information. So let's pretend that I was doing it just so I can show you guys. Check the box. Whoops. Okay. And it's not a hard pull on your credit to see what you qualify for, which means it will not affect your credit score to see what you qualify for. Oh, it recognizes my email address because we do business with them. So it's asking me to log in. Okay. If you guys have SoFi accounts, like I have an account, if you have SoFi accounts or you've done financing through them before, it'll ask you to log in. If it doesn't, it's going to take you to, I didn't realize it was going to do this. I thought I could like show you what it does. So I'll just describe it to you. It'll ask you to log in and then it'll give you questions. If you're new to them and it doesn't recognize your email address, it'll just go right to the question. So it's going to ask you how much you want to finance. In this case, it would be 7K. It's going to ask you your income after taxes. It's going to ask you whether you rent a house or whether you own a house. It's just going to ask you basic financial questions, and it's all secure, meaning like not sharing your information. So it asks you some simple questions. It's going to ask you what kind of purchase it is, and it'll give you a drop down. So is it a purchase for healthcare? Is it a purchase for education? Is it a purchase for, and you're just going to click major purchase or large purchase, however they word it. And it'll ask you a few simple questions about your income and about your housing and stuff like that. And then you will hit enter and it'll tell you whether you're pre-qualified or not. If you're not qualified, it'll tell you. And if you do qualify, it'll give you your options. It'll say, okay, we can finance 7K for you over 36 months at 6% interest, and it's $450 a month or whatever it is. It'll give you the different options. And if it works for you, you click it. Then they will do an actual credit check, like a hard pull on your credit, but only if you decide that you accept their terms and you want to move forward. And then they will fund your financing, which means they will deposit 7K in your account. And then you call me and you say, Arden, I got the financing. And then we say, yay. And then we say, do you want to do it on the credit card? Do you want to do it on a Venmo? However you want to do it. And then you're in. And that's easy. And you get the most discounted and you're on a payment plan with them. Just like it would if you were leasing a car, if you were financing a car, 3 years at 6%, 400 a month or whatever it is, depending on what you qualify for. So when you're looking at the different financing options on the financing resources link that's in the chat, I'll share my screen again. These are all partners who have financed tuition for our singers in the past. They all qualify in different ways. So you could get a no, 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 no from all of them. And then the, eighth, ninth one approves you. So you never really know. Just because some are disapproving you doesn't mean that they will all disapprove you. So if this is really important to you, just go down the list. Again, it's not going to affect your credit score to see what you can get pre-approved for. So it's a no-brainer to know what your options are. So just go down the list, and if one of them approves you, amazing. If several do, you can pick what the best offer is at the best rate. If none of them do, that's okay. Again, we're throwing spaghetti on the wall and we're not making meaning out of it. If you don't qualify for a no interest credit card, and if you don't qualify for any of the third-party financing, then your next step is to say, okay, do I want to do crowdfunding? We've had singers do GoFundMe and Kickstarter campaigns and raise a lot of money to fund their tuition that way. It is the holidays. Instead of your parents or whoever in your life giving you a sweater or a gift certificate to a restaurant or whatever, hey, would you mind contributing to the tuition that I need to be able to change my life, change my voice, change my singing career, get where I want to go? If you have people in your life who've said, I love you, I believe in you, I will invest in you, whether it's family members, colleagues, good friends, your pastor, who might be willing to either loan you, if you can't get a loan the traditional way, loan you the tuition and put you on a payment plan through them, to pay them back, or gift you some or all of the tuition to be able to get the skills you need to change your singing, change your life. Fantastic. Go ask. I know it feels a little weird, and sometimes it feels uncomfortable for people to ask people in their life to help them out, to help them fund things that are important to them. But you guys, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So what is the worst thing that they can say? No. Okay, fine. But be the squeaky wheel. The silent wheel does not get the oil. So be squeaky. Talk to everyone in your world who knows what you want to do, and speak to them as passionately as you've shared in here these last 6 days about what this means to you, about what's important to you, about what's on the other side of it for you, and how hard it's been not being able to actualize this for yourself in your life. Don't make the decision for them by not letting them know what you're up to and what you need. This is about worthiness. You are worth asking for help. If this is not something that you can do on your own, okay, don't be too proud, because that will keep you stuck if that's what's prevented you in the past from getting where you need to go and getting the help you need to get where you want to go. So those are really our main financing options. I encourage you to look into them. If you're looking into them, get on my call calendar. Let me know what's up. I might have other ideas for you depending on what your unique situation is, but only get on my call calendar if you are serious about getting resourceful. Because if you are, I'll help you get creative. Okay. All right, you guys, this has been amazing. See you all tomorrow in the Q&A. I want to work those technique tools. I want you to bring me all your questions about breath support and about resonance and about all the things that we trained on today. And we can dive into it tomorrow. So I know we've gone way over, but thank you for showing up to the change that you want to be and that you want to see in your singing. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.